Right now at 5, Pittsburgh police investigate a shooting that happened near the local Sonic.
We've got a much milder start to our day today. How warm is it going to get and how long will it last? We'll have that all coming up.
And Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and our very own Yana Tula tells you what you can expect while you travel to enjoy the holiday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Buck.
Already Monday. I'm Chris Warner. So here we are. It's Monday.
And it's Thanksgiving week.
That's true. So for some folks, they're already out of school. Not everybody is. I know Joplin's still got school today and tomorrow, for example. And of course, not everybody out of work yet for the holiday. Some people lucky enough, they've got the whole week off. Others not so much. So there's a lot of weather changes going on this week too. So we want to keep an eye on all of that through the week. Right now though, in Joplin, we're sitting with some clear skies, 34 degrees, that south-southwest breeze making it feel like 26. Temperatures across the region, bit on the chilly side, 32 in Chanute, 30 in Parsons, 26 Miami, and 30 in Neosho. Now despite that, with the wind, of course, making it feel a little cooler, 23 in Chanute, 25 Columbus feels like 25 in the Neosho, but we're upwards of 15, almost 20 degrees above where we were 24 hours ago as our warming trend continues. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Not a lot of cars out there yet. We got a green light for your morning commute. This will be clear and cold, and a green light for your drive home as will be clear and chilly, you could say. For those who are getting on the bus this morning, we're looking at 30 degrees and clear skies, and we'll have clear skies yet again later today, 53 by 3, and 53 is our high today. But look at this, just clear skies all day. Just a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous day and an absolutely gorgeous night, albeit a bit chilly, 34 for our overnight low tonight. We do have some rain on the way, and the warmer temperatures, we'll see how long they're going to stick around here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, a lot to talk about. And like you said, a lot of people hitting the roads.
Yeah, a lot of folks hitting the roads. And if you are flying, of course, as we mentioned last week, through this week and up until Monday of next week, we're going to be highlighting weather-related airport delays. So flight delays are a totally different thing. If your flight's delayed, you'll have to check on that yourself. But we do have a map that'll let you know if there's any major weather delays for your destinations.
Which can lead to a flight delay.
Yeah, exactly. If the airport's delayed, then you can guarantee the flight is delayed. But if the airport's not delayed, make sure your flight's not, because I saw a story this morning where TSA over the weekend, or maybe it was just Friday, screened 2 million passengers or so. So just absolutely a lot of travelers out there. All
right, sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Well, on Saturday evening, a pedestrian was struck on South Range Line and 7th Street. The victim was an adult male. JPD tells us he was struck by one car throwing him into the air, and then a second vehicle ran over him. He was not in a crosswalk. No names have been released at this time. Sheriff David Groves of Cherokee County releases images of video of 2 men wanted in relation to residential burglaries in the county. In security video, you can see 2 men enter a door in the dark. One man quickly disables the blink camera and the video clip ends. Suspects may be in a stolen 2021 red Toyota Venza. You can call the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office at 620-429-3992 for any information you may have. Fire crews battle a duplex fire in Carl Junction, Missouri. The duplex is on Southgate Circle, south edge of Briarbrook neighborhood. No one was inside. Passerbys were able to get animals out of the duplex. The homes are a total loss. Red Cross has been contacted to assist the families displaced, and one firefighter was injured and treated at the scene. Pittsburgh police are looking for answers in the investigation of an overnight shooting that happened last week. It happened Thursday night in the area of Pittsburgh Sonic Drive-In on the 100 block of West 23rd. Police got the call before 10 p.m. and then found a 32-year-old man with a gunshot wound. Excuse me, this was Friday night. They say it's a non-life-threatening injury, non-life-threatening to an extremity. He was taken to the hospital and was listed in stable condition at last report. Police say they found a possible person of interest in the case, but the victim was uncooperative. Pittsburgh Police Department invites phone-in tips and says people giving information may remain anonymous. Thanksgiving is this week, and some people will be traveling during the holiday weekend. AAA expects nearly 55 million Americans traveling this week. KOAM's Yana Dula had a talk with Joplin residents about their Thanksgiving travel plans. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you very much. We're live here in Joplin at the regional airport. So AAA predicts that nearly 55 million Americans will travel 50 miles or more this holiday weekend. Joplin Airport's arriving and departing flights are mostly full, and they continue to be for Thanksgiving as well. The airport manager expects people flying in to come home and see their families for the holiday. When it comes to driving, travelers are dealing with higher gas prices. A local resident visits his friend by plane week before Thanksgiving, but is staying home for the holiday as his family is driving to him to celebrate.
Realistically, this is what gas was just 2-3 years ago. It was nice getting to enjoy a year or two of real cheap gas, but I mean, 'cause I remember spending like $100 to fill my truck up just 2-3 years ago when gas really got high.
According to AAA, 4.5 million people are expected to travel by plane, and another 49 million people are expected to travel by car this holiday weekend. Live in Joplin, I'm Yana Hautala with KOAM News.
All right, at least we have good weather here. Right, Yana? All right, we'll check in.
It's a little bit windy here, but it's good.
That's good. We'll check in with you in a little bit.
All right, let's skip ahead to sunrise sunset today. It's going to rise this morning at 7:03 and it will set at 5:05. Quick look at your 7-day forecast. Warming trend continues near 60 by Wednesday, mostly cloudy then. Rain chances on Thanksgiving Day and Friday. As you can see, when we drop off to 51 Wednesday night, we kind of just steady out there through the day Thursday. And then we're 51 again on Black Friday with some rain chances, and we clear out and stay mild for the upcoming weekend.
All right. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, PSU goes on to the second round of playoffs after they defeat Indy on Saturday.
Plus, a woman in North Carolina celebrates her 105th birthday.
And men around the world are not producing as much sperm as they used to 50 years ago. Interesting. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Well, Kansas City Chiefs are 7-2 this season and have won 3 straight games. They're on the road facing the Chargers. These two teams met once already in Week 2. Kansas City came back to win that one 27-24. Another battle. Kansas City takes the lead with 30 seconds left. They win it 30-27. Travis Kelce finishes with 6 catches for 115 yards and 3 scores, including the game winner. Pitt State Gorillas came ready to play on Saturday, shutting out UND in the first round of the playoffs 35-0. Devin Garrison scored 2 touchdowns, and the Pitt State defense forced 6 turnovers. Antoine Nunn Jr. had 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. Dubem Okonkwo had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and a lot of fun.
Dubem brings energy every day, just in life. That's who he is as a young man, and he's fun to be around. And sometimes we have to find the time or the way to draw the line sometimes. But he has a lot of fun with the guys, and you know, I love, and I told our football team this early on, do not lose that edge that they have out there. Our guys are dancing, and I have officials warning us no dancing and all this, but our guys love to play football. They love to celebrate together, and it's a lot of fun to be around.
Seneca is headed to the Class II semifinals following a big 28-14 win over Liberty Mountain View on Saturday. The Indians tamed the Eagles' high-powered defense, while junior running back Jackson Mars scored 3 touchdowns.
He's such a tough kid, you know, to take the amount of carries he does on offense and then turn right around on defense and play with extreme effort. And but he takes care of his body. He trains the right way in the weight room and gives himself a chance to be successful this time of year.
On Saturday, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State competed in the Central Region Cross Country Championships. The Lions hosted this year's event. Southern men continue their dominant season, taking home the team and individual titles this weekend. Gideon Kuntai won the race for the 3rd time in his career, and teammate Ryan Riddle placed 4th. Pittsburgh State finished in 4th as a team. The Gorillas were led by Matthew Oglesby and Diego Contreras. They placed 2nd and 3rd. On the women's side, Gorillas are the regional runners-up. Laura Murdoch was the first Pitt State runner to cross the finish line in 6th place. Missouri Southern finished 12th as a team. Still to come, a British man with a metal detector finds a medieval engagement ring. Plus, we're going to take another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now time for a little weather trivia. So which of the following conditions would cause the National Weather Service to issue what's known as a winter weather advisory? Would it be snow and blowing snow? Any of these things listed, sleet, or freezing rain? Well, what do you think about that? Let's take a look outside. Looks pretty good. We are clear. We're a little cool though, 34 degrees. Feels like 26 with that light breeze right now. Temperatures across the region are on the chilly side. 32 Neodesha, Chanute, 30 Parsons, 26 Miami, Chitopa, 30 in Neosho. And you factor in that light breeze, feels like 23 in Chanute and Neodesha, 25 Parsons, 23 in Miami, and 25 in Neosho. But believe it or not, we're upwards of about 15 degrees or so warmer now than we were 24 hours ago, as our warming trend continues. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 and Rangeline. Looks good so far. Green light for your morning drive as we'll be clear and cool. And a green light for your drive home as we maintain clear and cool conditions. So great driving weather today. For those kids that still have school today, 30 degrees when they get on the bus at 7 a.m. And we could see some gusty winds later, 53 by 3 o'clock. And 53 is our high today as we'll be sunny. So go soak up that sun if you are not in school or at work today. We'll have a clear night lined up for us as well as we drop back down to 34. The good news is so far, again, weather delay wise, no major weather delays at any of the airports across the country. So if you are flying out for the Thanksgiving holiday, you have some good weather ahead of you. Back to our trivia question. So which of these would cause them to issue a winter weather advisory? Well, if you picked B, any of these, you would be right. Winter weather advisories, they're issued to warn about hazards for which the weather conditions are not quite severe enough to warrant a winter storm warning. We're all too familiar with winter weather advisories here. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, warming trend continues near 60 by Wednesday. Watching some shower chances Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday, so in a little cooler. And then we start to clear out and warm up for the upcoming weekend. Well, a North Carolina woman had her very first birthday party on Friday. And that part doesn't sound like news, but the fact that it is her 105th birthday definitely stands out. Nikki Hauser explains.
Inside this senior living community in Cherryville, if you couldn't tell by all the well wishes, it's a special day for a very special woman.
105 years old.
You see, Lorene Summy is popular around here.
Be coming to do your hair. Yeah, I know it.
And on Friday, she became somewhat of a celebrity. While she celebrates almost 105 years of life, all of them right here in Cherryville, North Carolina, she's being celebrated all over the country and the world. Each letter that lines the halls of Somerset Court Senior Living Space.
Yesterday we received Wisconsin. Yes.
All 1,200, at least one from every state, sends a very happy birthday to Lorene. And that was just the beginning.
You want to go see a hoedown?
She was everything you see here. She's a loving woman.
Hey, Precious.
But it wasn't just the party, or a dedication from the mayor of her city, or even the pony that paid a visit. No, it was Lorene's close friends that made her the happiest.
So glad to see you. Thank you, honey. I love you. Oh.
That's a great story. That brings us, I'm sorry, just that lady saying that's so sweet. It brings us to our question to you today. Do you enjoy celebrating your birthday? Yes or no? You can vote, KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. Do so in the app, and of course, take part in discussion on our Facebook page. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, as states continue to consider the pros and cons of legalizing marijuana for recreational use, a new study looks at the relationship between cannabis and alcohol. It found that legalized use of marijuana is linked to a very slight increase in drinking alcohol, primarily among young adults and men. Researchers analyzed data from more than 4 million adults who responded to the CDC's behavioral risk factor surveillance system. According to the study, between 2010 and 2019, states' recreational cannabis laws appeared to be associated with about 1 to 1.5% rise in alcohol use among adults in those states. The good news, researchers say, is that cannabis legalization has been associated with decreases in opioid prescribing, temporary reductions in opioid-related emergency room visits, and does not appear to increase the use of other substances. They say more research is needed on the relationship between alcohol and cannabis use over longer periods of time and in terms of other health outcomes. More women gave birth at home in 2021 than any other year in the past 3 decades. That's according to a report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's National Center for Health Statistics. The report, which was released Thursday, says there were more than 50,000 home births in the U.S. last year. That's an increase of 12% from the year before. There was a 22% increase from 2019 to 2020, which the report says corresponds with the initial surge of COVID-19 cases. 21% of black women gave birth at home in 2021 compared to 15% of Hispanic women and 10% of white women. About 30 states reported home births, with West Virginia taking the top spot. Well, a new report says men around the world are not producing as much sperm as they did 50 years ago. The study appears in the journal Human Reproduction Update. Researchers have kept track of men's sperm counts for decades and recently incorporated dozens more studies published between 2014 and 2020 into their previous research. Studies found the average sperm count dropped from 104 million to 49 million per milliliter from 1973 through 2019. Normal sperm counts are around 40 million per milliliter. A urologist at the Cleveland Clinic says it's difficult to compare modern counts to historical data because methods for counting those counts have changed. Dr. Scott Lundy says people should not panic since the study shows sperm counts are still within the normal range, but he says there is a risk sperm counts could become abnormal in the future. Hospitals across the nation are having trouble keeping up with a stock of a hormone used to help deliver babies. They're reporting a shortage of oxytocin, manufactured under the brand name Pitocin. Healthcare providers use the drug to induce labor and prevent hemorrhaging in delivery. One of its major manufacturers said it is trying to manage production delays, pointing to a backlog of testing for active ingredients. The drug producer is also reporting limited supply due to increased demand. The Food and Drug Administration said it is working with oxytocin manufacturers and monitoring the situation. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Well, despite a cold start to the day, believe it or not, we are upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. We'll talk how long this warming trend lasts and some rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, Pittsburgh police investigate into a shooting that happened near the local Sonic.
We are warmer this morning than we were 24 hours ago, and we're going to continue to warm up. We'll tell you how warm it's going to get and talk rain chances coming up.
And Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and our very own Yana Abdullah tells you what you can expect while you travel to enjoy the holiday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:28. I'm Tanya Buck.
It is 5:28. It's a wonderful morning. It's cold outside, but it's a lot warmer than what we have seen. I'm Chris Warner, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that because it seems kind of essential. So right now it's 7th and Range Line, clear skies, and it is cold. 34 feels like 26. We are warmer, though, and I'll talk about that in a second, than where we have been. 32 Pittsburgh, 30 Parsons, 26 Chautauqua, and 30 in Neosho. Factor in the light breeze, feels like 23 Chanute, 26 Columbus, feels like 26 in Neosho. But despite that, again, as I mentioned, we are warmer, upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than what we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT cam at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good. Green light for your morning commute if you got work today. This will be clear and cold and clear and cool with a green light for your drive home as well. For the kids that do have school today, when they get on the bus at 7 a.m., 30 degrees, and when they get home, 53 and sunny skies. This is a beautiful day today. Mostly sunny, 53 for the high, and as we head into tonight, we'll stay mostly clear, and we'll drop back down to 34 degrees for the overnight low. And the good news is, if you're traveling by air for Thanksgiving, at least from the weather side, no major delays at any of the major airports this morning. So if you're heading out this morning, so far looking pretty good. But again, a quick reminder, this map is only showing weather-related delays at the airports, not specific flight delays, so do check on your specific flight. But otherwise, from the weather department, looking pretty good for traveling. We're going to talk about the warm weather and how long it's going to stick around, and Tanya's going to talk about this guy
Yes.
coming up.
Sometimes when you have a case of the Mondays, just giving a big soft plushie a hug is the best thing.
Now, Carrie said that she had a name for it, and I've already forgotten the name.
Aw.
But she has
It's super
named
cute.
him.
Okay, so I came in the newsroom this morning, and I've been confused until just a few minutes ago about why there was a giant.
What is he?
What is it?
He's, it says Avita, he's an original Squishmallow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so there's a whole story behind this guy that Tanya will clue you in on. Milk Dud, okay.
Oh, that's a good name. Okay,
yeah,
so
Milk
we will
Dud. I knew it
learn
was
the
something
purpose of
interesting.
Milk Dud here in a little bit. Okay.
We'll learn all about Milk Dud here in just a minute.
That sounds good. But first, let's get to our local news. On Saturday evening, a pedestrian was struck on South Range Line and 7th Street. An adult male was struck. A JPD tells us he was struck by one car throwing him into the air, and then the second vehicle ran over him. He also was not in a crosswalk. No names have been released at this time. Sheriff David Groves of Cherokee County releases images and video of two men wanted in relation to residential burglaries in the county. In security video, you see two men enter a door in the dark. One man quickly disables the camera and the video clip ends. Suspects may be in a stolen 2021 red Toyota Venza. You can call the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office at 620-429-3992 for any information you may have. Pittsburgh police are looking for answers in the investigation of last week's shooting. It happened in the area of Pittsburgh Sonic Drive-In on the 100 block of West 23rd. Police got the call before 10 p.m. Thursday night and found a 32-year-old man with a gunshot wound. They say it is a non-life-threatening injury to an extremity. He was taken to the hospital and was listed in stable condition at last report. And police say they found a possible person of interest in the case, but the victim has been uncooperative. The Pittsburgh Police Department invites phone-in tips and says people giving information may remain anonymous. Well, the Franklin Museum in Franklin, or the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, Kansas, gave residents a chance to learn how to make some festive cocktails. Celebrity bartenders were on hand to show the audience how to make the drinks and snack pairings that go with them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great fundraiser. It gets people out, friends, new friends, and raises money for the museum, which is wonderful.
Attendees walked away with recipes and a commemorative glass. And again, that's called the Miners Hall Museum. Thanksgiving is this week, and some people will be traveling during the holiday weekend. AAA expects nearly 55 million Americans traveling this week. KOAM's Yana Tula had a talk with Joplin residents about their Thanksgiving travel plans. And good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya, and thank you very much. We're live here at Joplin Regional Airport, and out of these almost 55 million Americans who are traveling this weekend, they will travel 50 or more miles. Most of them will travel 50 or more miles this weekend. Joplin Airport's arriving and departing flights are mostly full, and they continue to be for Thanksgiving as well. The airport manager expects people flying in to come home and see their families for the holiday. When it comes to driving, travelers are dealing with higher gas prices. A local resident visits his friend by plane week before Thanksgiving, but is staying home for the holiday as his family is driving home to celebrate.
Realistically, this is what gas was just 2-3 years ago. It was nice getting to enjoy a year or two of real cheap gas, but I mean, 'cause I remember spending like $100 to fill my truck up just 2-3 years ago when gas really got high.
According to AAA, 4.5 million people are expected to travel by plane, and the other 49 million people are expected to travel by car. Live in Joplin, I'm Yana Haudala with KOAM News.
Do you have any tips or recommendations if you do travel by plane this year to make it a little smoother?
Yeah, I talked with the airport manager and he said always be early so you won't miss your flight, because especially they have this 6 a.m. flight here today, and he said just be early so you will not miss your flight, because that will ruin your plans if you do.
Very good idea. Always be early. All right, thank you so much, Yanni. We'll check in with you in a few minutes. Well, the Miami Public Library is having its first ever animal sleepover, and KOAM's Carrie Worthen brought along her own stuffed animal to see what it's all about.
I tried to do him have a sleepover too.
Youth librarian Sonia Smith said she has seen other libraries do this sleepover before and wanted to join in.
Children will bring their favorite stuffed animals. We've got little name tags that we'll put on them so they don't get mixed up or lost. We'll read them some bedtime stories, and then the stuffed animals will sleep at the library tonight.
Smith wants the children to get used to the library and hear some stories.
Some children, they don't get to be read to all the time, so it's a nice new environment for them if they're not familiar with the library, and hopefully they'll get to meet some new friends.
But Granny, said Patrick,
For her to make friends, that he gets to make some friends.
A card for each stuffed animal was filled out with their name, who the stuffed animal belonged to, and a telephone number so no animal would be lost.
Baby monkey having fun.
Speaking of fun, as the stuffed animals spend the night, the library will be taking pictures of all the shenanigans they get into throughout the night.
This is just a great way to get the community together into the library to see that the library is more than just books, and just have some fun.
Probably something crazy. Party.
I love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces when we do these type of events, and I love being part of my community and promoting literacy in the community.
In Miami, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
Fun.
How sweet. Oh. Well, the library will serve donuts to the children and their stuffed animals tomorrow morning, I guess.
I think we should have some morning tales. A morning sleepover.
Okay, we could, you know what? We could get the fireplace going on the monitor. We could sit over there in the interview set and we could read stories.
Yeah.
We could make a little segment.
I think,
Story time with Chris and Tanya.
I
and
think
their
we
stuffed
should
animals.
do that. There we
and
go.
Carrie's stuffed animal. I've already decided that I'm going to ask Santa for one of these this year.
Well, we'll have to see if Santa delivers. Speaking of, we're talking about birthdays. So, there's inside of a senior living community in North Carolina lives a woman who just turned 105 years old. And while she's popular around the community, she's also become somewhat of a celebrity while she celebrated her birthday.
She not only was celebrated locally, she was celebrated internationally as well, and she received at least 1,200 cards wishing her a very happy birthday. And the coolest part is there was at least one from every state.
It wasn't the party, the dedication from the mayor, or even the pony that made her the happiest. It was her close friends that made the day the most special. That brings us to our question to you. I love when that update's live. Do you celebrate your birthday, or do you enjoy celebrating it? 33% of you say yes.
Those are two totally different questions.
Yeah, so do you enjoy celebrating your birthday? 33% yes, 67% no. As I've gotten older, I've turned in my dad. He didn't make a big deal of his birthday. I mean, we celebrated it, but he didn't like making a big deal of it. I'm there too. I'm like, if people want to celebrate it, I'm cool with it. I'm not going to shut them down. I just don't make that big of a deal of it.
I love celebrating my birthday, although I've found that the numbers are getting smaller, not bigger now. I don't know how that worked, but at one point they just stopped going up and they started going down.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, make sure you vote through our website, through the app, and of course take part in discussion on our Facebook page. Okay, quick look at the 7-day. We continue the warming trend, near 60 by Wednesday. Some rain showers possible Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so be aware of that. A little bit cooler, and then we'll clear out for the weekend, then start to warm up again. And these temperatures, by the way, are about where we should be this time of year, so looking pretty good.
Those are amazing temperatures. I love that.
They are much better than they have been.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, ancient art in Italy is coming to life as archaeologists find more of it hidden by time.
Plus, Tauntaun, a giant panda gifted to Taiwan by China, passes away. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, a medieval wedding ring could fetch tens of thousands of dollars when someone says "I do" at an auction this month. A British man recently found a near-perfect gold ring from the 14th century in a field using his metal detector. Historians think it was given to a wealthy bride by her husband in the year 1388. It bears a French inscription which translates to "I hold your faith, hold mine." Cue the swooning. This is what I really want for Christmas. Experts think it could be worth as much as $47,000 when it's auctioned on November 29th. What a find. Well, Tauntaun, a giant panda from the Taipei Zoo, has died. According to the zoo, Tauntaun passed away after his heart stopped on Saturday. The giant panda was 18 years old and has suffered from medical problems in recent months. The zoo informed, including a brain tumor that was diagnosed in September. Tauntaun was euthanized after the zoo's medical team determined his condition was, quote, irreversible. He was one of the 2 giant pandas that China gifted Taiwan in 2008 as part of its long-standing practice known as panda diplomacy. Tauntaun is survived by his partner, Yan Yan, and their 2 cubs. Let's look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Well, if you're doing any traveling today, whether it's to work or to your holiday destination, the good news is we're looking good. We got a green light for your morning drive as we are clear and cold. Then we have a green light for the drive home as we stay clear and a little bit on the cool side. And be aware we could see some gusty winds upwards of about 25 miles an hour. Kids that do have school today, 30 degrees when they get on the bus, and it'll be 53 and sunny by the time they get home. And sunny's the theme today. Clear skies, 53 for the high, so closer to where we're supposed to be this time of year. Same with our overnight low tonight. We'll be clear and dropping back down to 34 degrees. Quick check of the 7-day forecast. Take a look. Warming trend continues Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, we're almost 60 degrees, but clouds begin to increase ahead of our next weather maker, bringing us some rain chances on Thanksgiving and on Black Friday. So if you're traveling either of those days or maybe shopping on Black Friday, do be aware. Could run into some rain and maybe some slick spots, and a little bit cooler too, 51 Thursday and Friday. Then as we head into the upcoming weekend, we warm back into the mid-50s, and we also clear out. And look at these overnight lows. Save Wednesday night. Because of the cloud cover and the rain, we're going to hit 51, and we just kind of level out there for a while. But otherwise, overnight lows much closer to average for this time of year. We've got a lot more of the KOAM Morning News headed your way when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pittsburgh police are looking for answers in the investigation of an overnight shooting. It happened in the area of Pittsburgh's Sonic Drive-In on the 100 block of West 23rd. Police got the call before 10 p.m. on Thursday and found a 32-year-old man with a gunshot wound. They say it is a non-life-threatening injury to an extremity. He was taken to the hospital and was listed in stable condition at last report. Police say they found a possible person of interest in the case, but the victim has been uncooperative. Pittsburgh Police Department invites phone-in tips and says people giving information may remain anonymous. Fire crews battle a duplex fire in Carl Junction, Missouri. The duplex is on Southgate Circle on the south edge of the Briarbrook neighborhood. No one was inside at the time, and passersby were able to get animals out of the duplexes. The homes are a total loss. The Red Cross has been contacted to assist the families displaced. One firefighter was injured and treated at the scene. Saturday evening, a pedestrian was struck on South Range Line and 7th Street. The victim, an adult male. JPD tells us he was struck by one car throwing him into the air, and then a second vehicle ran over him. He was not in a crosswalk. No names have been released at this time. Federal grand jury indicts a Galena, Kansas man for a weapons crime following a high-speed chase in Newton County, Missouri. Douglas Alexis is charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Alexis was riding a motorcycle on Highway 166 in Cherokee County back on October 9th when a deputy tried to stop him for running a stop sign. He led officers on a chase that ended with a crash in Newton County, Missouri. Officers say they had to tase him multiple times to keep him from reaching into a pocket where he carried a pistol. Alexis was charged as an armed career criminal due to previous felony convictions. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
At forecast as you head out the door, we are clear, but we are on the cold side. 34 in Joplin, feels like 26. Temperatures across the region are on the cold side. 33 Yates Center, 32 Neodesha, Chanute, 30 Parsons, 26 in Miami. You factor in that light breeze, feels like 24 Neodesha, 23 Chanute, feels like 23 in Miami. Despite that, we are upwards of 15, almost 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. MoDOT camera, I-44 and range line looking good so far. Green light for your morning drive as we are clear and cold, and a green light for your drive home as we are clear and cool. Could see some gusty winds later today, upwards of about 25 miles an hour, so be aware if you are traveling. 30 when the kids that have school today get on the bus, and when the bus brings them back home. 53 and clear, and 53 is our high today as we'll have sunny skies, so an absolutely gorgeous day ahead of us. Heading into tonight, we remain clear, dropping back down to 34 for the overnight low. As we look at the 7-day forecast, the warming trend continues, pushing near 60 by Wednesday, but we have increasing clouds, so our temperature will level off at about 51 heading into Thanksgiving. Rain showers possible Thanksgiving and Friday, so do be aware if you're traveling these days, doing some shopping on Black Friday, you could run into some rain showers and some slick spots. Once that clears out, we warm up and clear out for the weekend, and we get back to some more mild temperatures that are more on par for this time of the year. We're back with more right after this.
Ancient history is coming to life at an archaeological dig in Italy.
As Ben Whitteman shows us, scientists are discovering art and artifacts that are thousands of years old, buried beneath the sands of time.
Archaeologists free from the mud and murky water, a masterpiece from the distant past. A bronze statue of a boy dating back perhaps more than 2,000 years. Wow. Excavations over the last 3 years at this ancient hot spring in San Casciano dei Bagni in the Tuscan hills are bringing treasures to the surface.
We found a bubble of time.
Professor Jacopo Taboli leads the international team here. He's still amazed at what they've found.
The first coins came out with no corruption. They were perfect. And then slowly, it was one, it was two, there were thousands. And then the statue. So it was, of course, extremely emotional.
The artifacts date back to as early as the 2nd century BC, immaculately preserved by a combination of mud and mineral water. Ancient pilgrims would lower their offerings to the gods into the thermal water. Coins, bronze statues, and likenesses of specific body parts, hoping that by then bathing in those waters, the gods would heal their ailments. At a time when a rising Rome was at war with the Etruscans, the original inhabitants of the area, the two peoples mingled peacefully in the springs in search of health, healing, and fertility.
No, questo è un utero sicuramente.
At a restoration lab run by Italy's Culture Ministry, archaeologist Ada Saldi shows me some of those offerings, including a bronze likeness of vital organs.
Si possono vedere anche
You can see the smallest details, she says, the trachea, the lungs with all the veins and arteries, the heart, the diaphragm, the liver, the spleen, and the intestines.
Fegato e milza.
Bronze feet, arms, and legs were also found in the muck. So far, more than 6,000 coins have been fished out of the mud, plus bronze heads, statues, and other items. A veteran of Italy's Antiquities Restoration Department, Simona Pozzi's job is to clean the antiquities and try to preserve them. I've never seen a find like this, she tells me. Several other springs in the area have yet to be excavated. The mud and water have yet to yield all their ancient secrets. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, San Casciano dei Bagni, Italy.
It's so cool when these things are coming back from the past, you know.
Oh,
I love the history.
There's a lot of history, a lot of cool stuff out there. I was a really big fan of the show Sequest. It ran briefly on NBC, but it was a pretty good show, and they had an episode where they had uncovered the library at Alexandria. Now, of course, I mean, it was sci-fi, so, you know, but they had found it and all the artifacts were intact in there. It was just kind of a neat little episode. And you're seeing, though, we're finding neat things as time goes on. So you never know what we're going to find next.
There you go.
What we're going to find coming up is a look at a warmer forecast. We have a nice cold start to us the day today, but warmer weather is on the way. 34 in Joplin right now, feels like 26 with clear skies. Temperatures across the region are cold. 32 Chanute, 30 Parsons, 26 in Miami, 31 Lamar, and 28 in Carthage. You factor in that light breeze, feels like 23 Chanute, 24 Parsons, 23 Miami, feels like 24 in Lamar, and feels like 26 in Carthage. And even though it's cold, we're upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than what we were 24 hours ago as our warming trend continues. Live look at the MoDOT camera, I-44 in range line. A few more cars on the road, but not bad. Green light for your morning drive as we'll be clear and cold, and a green light for your drive home as we will be clear and cool. Kids getting on the bus, because I know some of them, including mine, do have school today and tomorrow. It's 30 degrees at 7 a.m. and sunny, and 53 and sunny by the time they get home at 3, and 53 is our high today under sunny skies. And a quick reminder, of course, now we're getting in fall and winter. Our daytime highs are hitting a little earlier in the day instead of later like they do during the summer months. Later tonight will be clear, drop back down to 34 for the overnight low. If you are doing any flying for your holiday weekend, as you can see, no major weather delays at any of the airports across the U.S., so that's definitely a plus. And on the 7-day forecast, warming trend continues. We make it to near 60 by Wednesday. Clouds increase, and then we see some shower chances Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and a bit cooler, 51 both days, so do be aware of that if you're traveling or doing anything. You could run into some rain and some slick spots. And as we head into the weekend, we start to clear out and temperatures get back to the mid-50s. And again, these temperatures are right about where they should be for this time of year. We've got a whole nother hour of the KOAM Morning News coming up right after this.
Right now at 6, 2 vehicles strike a pedestrian walking outside of the crosswalk just south of 7th and Range Line in Joplin.
Despite a cold start to the day, we're almost 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago as our warming trend continues. We'll talk about warm weather and rain chances here in just a couple of minutes.
And 'tis the season for holiday travel. KOAM's own Yana Hatula takes us to the Joplin Regional Airport for a closer look at how they deal with one of the busiest travel weeks of the year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. It's 6 a.m. So as I walked over here, there's a stool down here and I propped my leg up on it and I missed it and just about knocked it into Tanya. That could have been disastrous. Thankfully, we averted a disaster and everything.
I'm just glad my coffee wasn't sitting
Yeah,
on
no
it.
kidding. We could have had a serious situation here, but disaster was averted, thankfully. And no disastrous forecast for you. Man, it's going to be nice for the next several days. In Joplin right now, we are clear. We are cold, 34 degrees. Feels like 26 with that light breeze. Temperatures across the region are, again, on the cold side. 32 Chanute, Pittsburgh, 31 Lamar, 28 in Carthage, and 30 in Monette. You factor in the wind, and it feels like 23 in Monette, 26 Carthage, 25 in Pittsburgh. Feels like 23 in Chanute. And again, like we showed you earlier, despite that, we're upwards of 20 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looks good. Green light for your morning drive, whether it's to work or to start your holiday week, as we'll be clear and cold, and a green light for that afternoon drive, maybe if you're leaving later in the day or if you're at work and heading home, be mostly clear and cool. The kids getting on the bus today, those that have school, 30 degrees at 7 a.m. and clear, and a little bit of gusty wind later, maybe upwards of 25 miles an hour, so do be aware of that. 53 by 3 o'clock, and 53 is our high today. And look at that. Those are just clear conditions. This is the easiest forecast to put together, to click those little icons, because it's clear all day and all night as we drop back down to 34 for the overnight low. If you are traveling by air, the good news is, including at the Joplin Regional Airport, no major weather delays at any of the airports across the country. Now, again, this is just weather-related delays, not flight-specific delays, so check on your specific flight. But otherwise, if you're traveling by air, looking pretty good this morning. And we'll continue to bring you this map as we head through the holiday week, just so you can plan accordingly. We're going to take a look at your 7-day forecast and how warm it's going to get here in just a couple of minutes.
All right. Sounds like we got a lot to talk about. That's true.
It's a pretty simple forecast, but with the holiday and with Black Friday and travel and everything, there's a lot of steps to it.
I'm digging the return to normalcy for the temperatures, though, for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to get back to normal because we were just brutally cold there for a little. Well, not brutally cold, but we got cold there for a couple of weeks.
Very true. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, 2 vehicles strike a pedestrian on Joplin's Range Line over the weekend. The accident happened about 5:30 on Saturday night. Authorities say the pedestrian, an adult male, was struck in the southbound lanes of Range Line just south of 7th Street. The first vehicle struck the man and threw him into the air. Then the second vehicle ran him over. Authorities say the pedestrian was not in the crosswalk. Met's ambulance rushed the man, Priority 1, to an area hospital. His condition is still unknown. The drivers were not cited. There were no arrests. You can continue to follow this story as it develops on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Cherokee County Police want your help in solving a burglary. Sheriff David Groves of Cherokee County released images and video of two men wanted in relation to a residential burglaries in the county. In security video, you see two men enter a door in the dark. One man quickly disabled the camera and the video clip ends. Suspects may be in a stolen 2021 red Toyota Venza. You can call the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office 620-429-3992 for any information you may have. Federal grand jury indicts a Galena, Kansas man for a weapons crime following a high-speed chase in Newton County, Missouri. Douglas Alexis is charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Alexis was riding a motorcycle on Highway 166 in Cherokee County back on October 9th when a deputy tried to stop him for running a stop sign. He led officers on a chase that ended with a crash in Newton County, Missouri. Officers say they had to tase him multiple times to keep him from reaching into a pocket where he carried a pistol. Alexis was charged as an armed career criminal due to previous felony convictions. The Kansas Secretary of State declares all 105 Kansas counties have completed their post-election audit. State law mandates post-election audits, which were conducted in Kansas for the first time in 2019 under the Schwab administration. A post-election audit is performed to confirm that the ballot count and tabulator vote total is identical. Counties are required to submit the audit results to the Secretary of State's office for final approval. Well, Thanksgiving is this week, and some people will be traveling during the holiday weekend. AAA expects nearly 55 million Americans traveling this week. KOAM's Yana Abdullah had a talk with Joplin Regional Airport Manager about how the holiday traffic looks like in our area. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya. Thank you very much. We're live here in Joplin at the regional airport. They actually just had one flight departing at 6 a.m. Joplin Airport's arriving and departing flights are mostly full, and they continue to be for Thanksgiving as well. Some residents say plane ticket prices are higher than during COVID, but it doesn't stop them flying to their families and friends. The airport manager expects people flying in to come home and see their families for the holiday. He says they are seeing some staffing challenges because of large airline pilot shortages.
So the regional airlines like SkyWest are struggling to try to keep flights scheduled. So as long as we can get flights scheduled, we can put passengers on the planes.
According to AAA, 4.5 million people are expected to travel by plane this Thanksgiving holiday season, and another 45 million people are expected to travel by car. Live in Joplin, Yana Abdullah, KOAM News.
Yana, was there any way to tell the 6 a.m. flight this morning, was it pretty full?
Yeah, we did see some people walking before we came live, and looks like everyone were on time, so that was good.
Oh, that's one thing you mentioned early. One of the biggest tips is arriving early, right?
Yes, yeah, even though this is a small airport, the manager says, please be early because you may not get in the plane anymore if you're like last minute. So that's one of the tips for everyone.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Yana. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.
Quick check sunrise sunset today. 7:03 is when the sun will rise, and we will see that, and we should see a gorgeous sunset at 5:05. 7-day forecast. Warming trend continues. Near 60 by Wednesday. Clouds increase. Maybe some rain showers Thanksgiving and Black Friday. A little bit cooler. And then by the weekend we clear out and our temperatures return to average. I wanted to share something real quick. It was just something funny on Facebook. It said, thanks to everybody who said it's okay to let your pets sleep in bed with you. My goldfish is now dead. Not all pets can sleep with you in bed. Just a little factoid for them for Monday morning.
Well, and if you did it, I guess if you took the fish bowl with you too, you have the risk of wetting the bed.
I have that risk now.
Okay then. All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a community in shock and morning as a gunman shoots and kills at least 5 people and wounds 25 others in a mass shooting at an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs.
Plus, we'll take you for a trip overseas to meet the man widely regarded as one of the foremost experts in turkey carving.
Those turkeys looked angry. And a new national poll finds 1 in 7 U.S. parents have not discussed flu or COVID-19 vaccines with their child's primary care provider during the pandemic. We're going to look at reasons why when we come back. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, police are searching for a motive after a 22-year-old man opened fire in a gay nightclub in Colorado Saturday night. Now friends and family are remembering the 5 people who were killed. 25 people were injured in the shooting. Local officials say the heroic actions of a few patrons who subdued the gunman saved lives. Danya Bacchus has more.
Across the country, vigils were held to honor the victims of Saturday night's horrific mass shooting at a Colorado Springs LGBTQ club.
I lost friends. I'm not okay.
Joshua Thurman was on the dance floor when the gunman opened fire at Club Q.
I saw the flash of the muzzle when I looked to my left, and I took off running to the dressing room.
Police say at least 2 patrons confronted the suspect, grabbed a handgun from him, then hit him with it and pinned him to the ground until officers arrived. Investigators identified the alleged shooter as 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldridge. They say at least 2 firearms were found at the scene and that a long rifle was used in the attack.
The motive of the crime is part of the investigation, and whether this was a hate crime is part of that investigation.
We don't have him anymore, so really sucks.
Club Q bartender Derek Rump was killed. Friends say he made everyone feel like family.
Loving, supportive, with a heavy hand in his drink pouring, and just a really good listener.
The attack at a place considered to be a haven for the LGBTQ community happened on the eve of Transgender Remembrance Day, a day that honors transgender people who've lost their lives to violence. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Colorado Springs.
Attorney General Merrick Garland was briefed on the Club Q shooting. President Biden released a statement saying, quote, "We must drive out the inequities that contribute to violence against LGBTQ plus people. We cannot and must not tolerate hate." Police say the alleged shooter is in custody and was treated for injuries. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
And we got a very warm day, a warmer day lined up for us today. 53, we'll see nothing but abundant sunshine out there, so an absolutely gorgeous day. And a clear night, a little bit on the chilly side again, 34 for the overnight low. If you are traveling by plane this morning, the good news is so far across the country, no major weather delays at any of the airports across the country highlighted here on this map. And a quick reminder, again, this is just weather-related delays, not flight-specific delays, so make sure you keep up on that. Sunrise today, 7:03, sunset tonight, 7:05. And as we look at the 7-day forecast, we start to warm up. 58 by Wednesday, some rain showers possible Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and a little cooler. Then we clear out and are mild again by the weekend. We're back with more right after this. Well, with Thanksgiving just a few days away, you might be thinking about turkey. And you might be surprised to learn a man in England is considered one of the world's experts in carving one. Ian Lee has the story.
Learning about the best bird for Thanksgiving starts 3,000 miles away on an English farm. Paul Kelly's family has been raising turkeys for more than 70 years.
They're hard to keep alive. I always say they are looking for a way to die.
From pasture to the perfect plate, Paul's turkeys age for 2 weeks.
So is this kind of like dry aging beef?
Exactly.
Paul recommends finding a mature bird, meaning more fat on it.
If you get a bird like this, you can bounce it up and down, and I've cut the legs, and it's just a solid, mature bird.
That's a sign of quality.
Sign of quality.
This turkey tastes half as good as it looks. I think we're all in for a very big treat.
And to make sure your holiday doesn't end up like this one, let's talk turkey.
Turkey is not a very forgiving meat. When you take it over the top, it goes downhill very quickly. If you take your turkey out of the oven and that skin is beautifully crisp and golden, you've overcooked the turkey. So let's get down to carving it.
When it comes to the craft of carving, Paul takes us under his wing.
But all you've got to do is just take your time.
Easy for him to say. He holds the world record for the fastest carver at just over 3 minutes.
Take the leg off, take the wings off, take the breasts off. Once you've got them all there, then you're organised, then you can start to carve.
But after skillfully slicing and dicing, how does it taste?
Well, that's really good. I'd look forward to eating that on Thanksgiving Day.
Gobbling up tips from an Englishman for traditional American Thanksgiving. Ian Lee, CBS News, Essex, England.
Paul Kelly operates turkey farms in the UK and the US to serve Americans here and abroad. And he's not kidding. Turkey is not a very forgiving meat. My sister and I tried making the Thanksgiving meal the first year after our mom passed. And I'm not necessarily sure it was the best Thanksgiving meal that's ever been prepared in our house, but we tried, and you've got to do it just right, like he said, or you will not have a very good turkey. You'll have the Clark Griswold turkey, and you don't want that. And we've got some beautiful weather leading up to Thanksgiving. Right now, we do have a little bit of a cold start. We're clear in Joplin, 34, feels like 26 with that light breeze, and across the region, it's again a cold start to the day. 32 Yates Center, 30 Iola, 33 in Fort Scott, and 32 in Nevada, and pretty chilly across a good portion of the area. You factor in the breeze, 21 Yates Center, 23 Iola, 24 Fort Scott, feels like 25 in Nevada. So again, a bit of a chilly start to the day. But despite how chilly it is to start the day, again, we're upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than what we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Looks good so far. Now, whether you've got work or if you're starting your commute for your holiday destination early, you got a green light for that, as we'll be clear and on the cold side. And again, whether you're at work or maybe starting your commute later in the day, got a green light, sunny skies, and cool. For kids who do have school today, and I know some of them do today and tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies, 30 degrees at 7 a.m. when they get on the bus, and when that bus brings them home, 53 under sunny skies at 3 o'clock, and 53 is our high today, as we'll see abundant sunshine as we go through the afternoon, and we will remain clear heading into tonight and drop back down to 34 degrees for our overnight low. If you're traveling by air, so far, we're not seeing any significant weather delays at any of the major airports across the nation, so that is a good thing. And we've been reminding folks, and I know some of you are going to get tired of hearing me say it, but this map only takes into account weather-related delays. You'll still want to check on your specific flight to see if it's been delayed or not. Sunrise today, looking to beat 7:03 a.m. as the days get progressively shorter. And we've got a sunset tonight at 5:05, and we'll be able to see both of those because we've got cloud-free skies today. Warming trend will continue. 55 on Tuesday, 58 Wednesday, but clouds begin building in. And with the blanket of clouds and the warm weather, we only get down to 51 Wednesday night. But as you can see, temperatures remain fairly steady through Thursday. And we got rain chances on Thanksgiving Day. And we got rain chances again on Black Friday and a high of only 51. So a little cooler on Thursday and Friday this week. And with those rain chances, if you're traveling, just be aware that could run into some slick spots out there. So whether it's traveling to go out and meet friends and family for Thanksgiving, or if you're going shopping on Friday, or maybe Friday's your day that you try and get back home, we have some rain chances out there. Overnight lows start to get a little bit warmer as well, and as we head into the weekend, as you can see, we clear out and temperatures get back into the mid-50s. A little bit above where they should be this time of year, but a lot closer to where they should be than what we have been over the last couple of weeks. We got more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new national poll finds 1 in 7 U.S. parents have not discussed flu or COVID-19 vaccines with their child's primary care provider during the pandemic. Some parents say they had to get those vaccines elsewhere because their supplies were short. But researchers from the University of Michigan say the poll suggests other parents are not vaccinating their children at all and actively avoiding discussing the vaccines with a healthcare professional by canceling or delaying regular pediatric appointments. Well, a new study finds recreational cannabis use is associated with an increase in adult alcohol consumption. The increase is primarily among younger adults and men, but researchers from the University of Pittsburgh say the increase did not reach the point of heavy or binge drinking. Recreational cannabis is now legal in 19 states. And a new study of NFL football games during the pandemic finds cases of COVID-19 in the surrounding areas went up following the games. The spikes in 2020 and 2021 were more prominent when the number of fans in the stands was over 20,000. No significant increases took place when 5,000 fans or fewer attended the games. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got a cold start to the day, but warmer than what we have been lately. 34 right now in Joplin, feeling like 26 with a light breeze under clear skies. Clear skies across the area. 32 Neodesha, Chanute, 30 Parsons, 26 in Miami Grove, Anderson, 30 in Neosho. You factor in the wind. Feels like 25 Neodesha, 23 Chanute, 23 Miami, and feels like 25 in Neosho. Despite how cold it is, we are upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than where we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looks good. For your morning drive, regardless of where you're going or what you're doing, we're looking clear and cold, and a green light for the drive home. So we're clear and cool heading back. Today, for kids that do have school, I know some do today and tomorrow. 30 degrees at 7 a.m. when the kids get on the bus. When they come home, 53 degrees. And that's going to be our high today, as we'll remain clear with abundant sunshine. And then as we head into tonight, we remain clear as well and drop back down to a low of 34 degrees. Look at the 7-day forecast. Warming trend continues. 55 tomorrow, 58 on Wednesday. Clouds begin building in, so we don't do a lot of cooling, only down to 51. We stay steady in the 50s and upper 40s on Thanksgiving Day with some rain. Rain possible on Friday for Black Friday as well. 51 for the high. And then once this rain clears out by the next weekend, or this upcoming weekend rather, we start to warm back up with some sunny skies and temps in the mid-50s. We're back with more right after this.
Well, Thanksgiving is this week, as you know, and some people will be traveling during the holiday weekend. KOAM's Yana Tula had a talk with Joplin Regional Airport Manager and some residents about how the holiday traffic looks like. Good morning, Yana.
Good morning, Tanya. We're live here in Joplin at the regional airport. AAA predicts that nearly 55 million people are going to travel more than 50 miles this holiday Thanksgiving weekend. I talked with the airport manager and some residents from Joplin, about what their traveling weekend looks like.
Traveling for Thanksgiving has started for some four-state residents. They chose to celebrate early and avoid traffic jams.
I'm actually headed out this week on a little bit of an early Thanksgiving to hang out with my mom and brothers and sisters out there, and have a little cabin in Utah that they're renting, and going to have a good time.
Joplin Regional Airport Manager Part Starkey says flights arriving and departing from Joplin are all mostly full, and that's how they want to keep it. However, they are seeing some staffing challenges.
Right now, we're filling our flights, and we will continue to, because it's not an economic problem. But we just face the issue with the airlines trying to fill flight crews. So that's a problem that we're facing, and it's a problem across the country.
Starkey says even though the airport is small and going through security does not take long, passengers should still be at the airport early.
We have a very early flight that leaves at 6, and so sometimes people will cut it close and get here late, and then the gate's already, they've already closed the door.
Even though flight ticket prices are higher than during COVID, it does not stop Nielsen from traveling for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, I've heard, is the busiest day of the year to travel, and so the less you can do it that day, the better, I think.
According to AAA, 4.5 million people are expected to travel by plane this weekend, and another 49 million people are expected to travel by car. Live in Joplin, I'm Yana Hautala with KOAM News.
All right, thanks, Yana. And I'm curious, did the airport manager offer any other tips besides arriving early? Anything that you would recommend seeing at the airport?
Well, especially for Thanksgiving, if you're trying to bring some foods when you're going to go see your family, make sure that you're allowed to bring those foods, at least have them like in a closed container. And he recommended to check the website to make sure that you're allowed to bring whatever you're trying to bring to the plane.
Yeah, especially if you have multiple connections as well, for sure. All right, thank you so much, Yana. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.
All right, look at the sunrise, sunset today. They'll get some light out there at the airport this morning by about 7:03 this morning, and the sun will set at 5:05 this evening. 7-day forecast, warming trend continues. 55 tomorrow, mostly clear. Clouds building in Wednesday, 58. Rain showers possible Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and a little cooler, 51 both days. So if you're traveling, visiting friends, family, shopping, whatever you may be doing Thursday and Friday, do be aware of the rain showers and maybe some slick spots out there. And then as we head into the weekend, we warm back up, back into the mid-50s with some sunny skies. So temperatures are finally back where they're supposed to be for this time of year.
All right, sounds good. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Avian flu takes its toll on turkey farmers. 105 cases in just one state alone. That means higher prices on the dinner table this Thanksgiving.
Plus, we've got all the news you need to know before you head out the door. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. Be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, the holiday shopping season kicks off at the end of the week, and a recent survey from Fiverr says shoppers can expect more discounts. Nearly half of 500 retail business owners said they plan to offer steeper promotions to entice more shoppers. As Americans have grappled with record inflation this year. The National Retail Federation says more than 166 million Americans are expected to shop between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Well, Jack Daniel's has a bone to pick with the creators of a dog chew toy that mimics the whiskey maker's iconic bottle shape and black and white label, and they've asked the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in. Jack Daniel's is arguing that the Bad Spaniels toy violates trademark law, but lawyers for the Arizona-based company that makes the toy, VIP Products, says it's just a parody. Justices could decide whether or not to hear the case as soon as today. And all right, Scrabble stands. Grab your bay and get ready to play, because for the first time in 4 years, the game expanded its official dictionary. The board game added 500 new words and variations like adulting, deep fake, and spork. Oh, I thought spork always was a word. The official Scrabble Players Dictionary is produced in collaboration with Merriam-Webster and can be found online. Well, Thanksgiving is just a few days away, but your holiday turkey will very likely be a bit more expensive this year. Inflation is certainly a factor, but outbreaks of avian flu have also made it challenging for turkey farmers this year. John Lauritsen reports.
Usually what we'll do is we'll buy a turkey, a smoked turkey, for some of our friends.
At Ferndale Market in Cannon Falls.
I'm going to have my family over if we don't catch the flu that's coming around.
The Friday before Thanksgiving is a warm-up day before shoppers get serious about turkey.
We'll have thousands of folks coming over the coming days to pick up their turkey right at the source.
John Peterson is a third-generation turkey farmer at Ferndale. They raise free-range turkeys on site and then sell them at their market. This year has been more stressful than most. There have been 105 avian influenza outbreaks in Minnesota, which leads the nation. Ferndale was fortunate not to get hit, but they know other farmers who weren't so lucky.
It was a scary time. I've worried a lot throughout the spring, summer, and fall, but thankfully all of our flocks were just fine.
But while the supply is good, the cost is up.
Turkey prices are up across the board. At Ferndale, they say that has more to do with inflation than anything else, with the price of fresh turkey up 10 to 15% compared to last year.
Peterson says a lot of that has to do with rising feed prices. Still, as Thanksgiving nears, he knows things could be much worse.
To say that we feel fortunate would be an understatement. We feel very, very fortunate to have been spared.
Updated biosecurity protocols were implemented after the last avian flu outbreak in 2015. Peterson and other farmers who dodged bird flu this year believe those measures were part of the reason they did not see outbreaks. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely gorgeous sunrise at 7th and Range Line this morning. Looks beautiful out there. 34 degrees in Joplin, feeling like 26 with that light breeze. Temperatures across the region. Cold start to the day, but not bad. 32 Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, 30 Parsons, 26 Chatopa, Miami, and Grove, 30 in Neosho and in Monette. You factor in that light breeze. Feels like 25 in Neodesha, 23 Chanute, 25 in Parsons. Feels like 23 in Miami. Oklahoma and 25 in Neosho. And despite how chilly it is out there, we're upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer now than what we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Rangeline looks good. We got a green light for your morning drive as we are clear and cold, and we do have a green light for your drive home as we are clear and cool. Kids getting on the bus, because I know some kids still have school today. 30 degrees at 7 a.m. with a light southwest breeze. Maybe some gusts upwards of 25 later today. Otherwise sunny and 53. And 53 is our high temperature today. And we will see plentiful sunshine across the region. And we will remain clear heading into tonight as we drop back down to a low of 34 degrees. 7-day forecast, 55 tomorrow, 58 on Wednesday. Cloud cover increases and we don't really cool off a lot, 51. We hover around the lower 50s, upper 40s on Thanksgiving Day with some rain chances possible. And then we've got some rain chances possible Black Friday, and we're 51 on Friday as well. So if you're traveling, shopping, visiting friends, family, whatever the case may be aware of the rain showers Thursday and Friday, and be aware of some possible slick spots. And as we head into the weekend, we warm back up into the mid-50s, and we see the sun return. So some temperatures much closer to about where they should be for this time of year. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Corporal Clark Ritchie. The native of Jay, Oklahoma, served in Vietnam from 1965 to 1966 as part of the 25th Division, 2nd Battalion, 27th Regiment, also known as the Wolfhounds. The highly decorated veteran earned a number of awards, including the Combat Infantry Badge, the Purple Heart, and the Air Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster, just to name a few. To Corporal Clark Ritchie, we thank you. Today's four-state hero.
All right, time to celebrate some birthdays today. And we are beginning in Moran, Kansas with Kyler Jeannie Bott celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday, Kyler.
And Grant Beard is turning 8 years old today in Erie, Kansas. Actually, birthday was last Saturday, but we're still celebrating today. Happy birthday, Grant. And we've got Lindy Smith celebrating birthday number 8 in La Harpe. And this comes with love from Grandma, Dad, and Tracy. All right. Jet Shanholzer turning 11 years old this year. Happy birthday, Jet. And we've got Bryce Bugney celebrating birthday number 11 over in Frontenac. Bryce, a very happy birthday to you. And Gerard Grayson Craft celebrating birthday number 12 this year. And we've got Eden Hill celebrating birthday number 14 in Fredonia. Very happy birthday to you, Eden. In fact, this birthday for Eden was on Saturday, so that just means Eden gets to celebrate all weekend long. Right, Landon Murphy turns 21 today. Look at that one there. Nice job there, Landon in Nevada. And Logan Irvin celebrating with his big little puppy there, turning 22 in Joplin, and this comes with love from Mom, Dad, Devin, and Jalen. All right. Akila Schreiber celebrating birthday number 23 this year. What a pretty picture there of Akila in McCune, Kansas. And we've got Dakota Wixon celebrating birthday number 35 with the catch of the day over in Baxter Springs. Happy birthday, Dakota. All right, and it's time to celebrate for Bobby Robert Queen is 52 in Parsons. And we've got Joanne Rhodes celebrating birthday number 82. Very happy birthday to you, Joanne. All right. And a belated birthday wish going out to Martin Henderson, who on Saturday turned 90 years old. Congratulations to Mr. Henderson in Elsmore, Kansas. And we've got Kaylee Egbert Tannehill celebrating a birthday in McCune. A very happy birthday to you, Kaylee. And Colby Hale, pretty picture there of Miss Colby in Columbus from the Davis Real Estate Crew. Wishing you a happy birthday. And we've got Rico Gordon and Jade Simmons celebrating 4 years together in Galena. And Rico is Jade's high school sweetheart. This comes with love from their sister Regina and family. Aw, how sweet. All right, our birthday list goes on. We've got Connie Tids turning 73 years old up in Fort Scott. Adam York in Lawton, Kansas. Happy birthday to you as well. And we've got Colleen Grant celebrating in Scammon. And Jim and Frances Pyle celebrating 41 years of wedded bliss
in Pittsburgh. Happy birthdays and anniversaries to all of you on this list. And of course, like we've said before, we want to see this list grow. And Tanya's going to tell you how you can help us do that.
You can send your birthdays to birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com, or you can send them to birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com. Please be sure to include all the pertinent details.
And of course, while you're at our website, make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You can get some great deals from local businesses, and you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. Just go to KOAMNewsNow.com, go to the mornings page, and sign up for the Birthday Club today. And today's a good day to do that because that's going to be a beautiful day. Actually, today's a good day to get outside, to be honest with you. We're cold right now at the beautiful sunrise in Joplin. 34 feels like 26, and it is cold across the area. 32 Yates Center, Chanute, Neodesha, 30 Parsons, 26 Miami, and 28 in Carthage. You factor in the wind, feels like 25 in Carthage, 23 in Miami, 22 Yates Center, and feels like 23 in Chanute. Despite how cold it is this morning, we are actually upwards of almost 20 degrees warmer than where we were 24 hours ago. Live look at the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. A few more cars on the road this morning. We got a green light from the weather department for that morning drive as we'll be clear and cold, and a green light for your drive home as we'll be clear and cool. But do be aware that we have the possibility of some gusty winds today, upwards of about 25 miles an hour out of the southwest. So if you're traveling, just keep that in mind. Kids going to school today, because there are still some out there that have to go today and tomorrow. 30 degrees at 7 a.m. and then we see the gusty winds later. 53 and sunny by 3. 53 is our high today with plentiful sunshine across the 4 states, and we'll stay clear heading into tonight as well as we drop back down to a low of 34. If you're traveling by air, so far some good news. No major weather delays at any of the major airports across the country, so that's always something good to note. Sunrise today is going to happen at 7:03 and the sun will set at 5:05. 7-day forecast, 55 tomorrow, 58 on Wednesday. Clouds start building in. We don't cool off a lot Wednesday night, only down to 51. We hover in the lower 50s, upper 40s on Thursday with some rain chances on Thanksgiving, and rain chances carry over into Black Friday, 51 both days. So if you're traveling, shopping, whatever you may be doing, just be aware that you could run into some rain and some slick spots as we head into Thanksgiving and into Black Friday. Then once we head into the weekend, if maybe you're heading home this weekend, got good weather then as we get back into the mid-50s and the sun comes back out, so we get temperatures a lot closer to where they're supposed to be, even for the overnight lows. Of course, that odd exception of Wednesday due to the cloud cover, not cooling off that much, but the rest of these lows right about where they should be. And remember, these are warmer than what our highs were over the last week or so, so a lot better for us here in the 4 states. Well, the KOAM Morning News is going to continue as we make the transition over to Fox 14 and the World Cup kicking off in Qatar. Take a look at how the host team did in their opening match against Ecuador, and want to remind you that coverage of the event can be found on Fox 14 as the U.S. team takes on Wales later today. That's ahead when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right here on Channel 7 here in just a couple of minutes.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Pittsburgh police are looking for answers in the investigation of a Thursday night shooting. It happened in the area of Pittsburgh's Sonic Drive-In on the 100 block of West 23rd. That's where police found a 32-year-old man with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to an extremity. He was listed in stable condition at last report. Police say they found a possible person of interest in the case. The victim was uncooperative. Fire crews battle a duplex fire in Carl Junction, Missouri. The duplex is on Southgate Circle on the south edge of Briarbrook neighborhood. No one was inside, and passersby were able to get animals out of the duplexes. The homes are a total loss. Red Cross has been contacted to assist the families displaced. One firefighter was injured and treated at the scene. Saturday evening, a pedestrian was struck on South Range Line and 7th Street. The victim was an adult male. JPD tells us he was struck by one car throwing him into the air, and then a second vehicle ran over him. He was not in a crosswalk. No names have been released at this time. And a federal grand jury indicts a Galena, Kansas man for a weapons crime following a high-speed chase in Newton County, Missouri. Douglas Alexis is charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Alexis was riding a motorcycle on Highway 166 in Cherokee County back on October 9th when a deputy tried to stop him for running a stop sign. He led officers on a chase that ended with a crash in Newton County, Missouri. Officers say they had to tase him multiple times to keep him from reaching into a pocket where he carried a pistol. That's a check of today's top headlines. The news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got abundant sunshine and warmer conditions today across the area. A high of 53 degrees today. Will remain clear as we go through the night, dropping back down to a low of 34 degrees. The warming trend continues on the 7-day, 55 tomorrow, 58 Wednesday, some clouds building. Could see some rain showers Thanksgiving and Black Friday, also a little bit cooler, 51. And as we head into the weekend, we clear out and warm back up to the mid-50s with our temperatures staying a little bit more average over the next several days.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making a 4-layer pecan pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. We're going to meet the first American woman to referee in a men's World Cup. We're going to hear how she found her unusual path to the world stage. That's ahead on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, the worlds of art and medicine come together for a symposium at Missouri Southern State University.
Plus, we'll meet a cat who can't hide how he feels about the latest member of the family. Sounds like an interesting story. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.